Welcome back to another video, Rom. It's the 4th of December, so this video is a bit late, but I haven't been here for most of the month. I've been in the USA, I only got back yesterday, which is why the video is going up now, but it's time to talk about the games that I played in November. I didn't play much this month. I think there was only one thing that is actually new on this list, but I played a couple things before I left and even did a bit of gaming while I was there. But that being said, as always, let me know down below what you played this month. Starting off with one that nobody is expecting, Dark Souls. It's not like it's been in nearly every single one of these videos. Now, I had 4 playthroughs of Dark Souls remastered in November. You can beat this game in a matter of hours if you know where you're going and what to do. So it's not like I spent the whole month playing the same game 4 times. It took a couple days to get 4 playthroughs done. But I tried playthroughs that I hadn't really tried before. So I tried Pyromancer to start off with because I'd never tried that before and I thought, why not give it a go? It kind of went exactly how I thought it would go. It was fun, it was powerful, but I ended up sticking to a couple different pyromancies and not much else. Like Combustion or Great Combustion, you know, when you get that version, I learned very quickly that that is the best pyromancy. It's quick, it does so much damage. The only downside is that you don't really get that many uses from it. But, you know, there are some other good ones as well, like the Great Fireballs or the Chaos Fireballs. I forgot the name of them. The Fire Whip is a good one, Great Chaos Fire Whip or whatever it's called. If you have the time to stand there and cast it, it's good. Then I had another playthrough using a hand axe. Nothing special, just quite literally one of the weapons you can buy at the very beginning of the game. And then like I did something with miracles, and then I think I did New Game Plus on that axe playthrough. So yeah, I played the game a couple times again this month. I'm sure I'll be back in January. Next game on the list is Dark Souls 3. This game is one that I'm actually a little less familiar with. I've only beat this one twice, and it was 3 or 4 years ago since I did that. So I actually needed to play this one again. And it went way better than it did 3 or 4 years ago. I just used a standard knight build. I love playing as knights, swords and shields in these games. I used the Lothric Knight sword and shield. You can get both of them as drops at the very beginning of the game in the first area, and I took it from the first area throughout the entire game and the DLCs. I was loyal to that Lothric Knight sword and shield. But yeah, the playthrough went way better than it did back then. Obviously I still remember things, and that did contribute to that, but I'm talking mainly about the bosses because that's what I struggled on back then. It was the boss fights. There's so many of them, like, and I had to like summon and everything back then. This time the only thing I summoned for was in the DLC, and it was an NPC. We'll get to the DLC soon. But the main game, the only thing I really struggled on was the final boss fight. That actually took me like an hour and a half. But once I figured out where I should be getting my attacks in and where I should just leave it and not even, you know, attempt it, it became a bit easier. And phase 2 of the final boss of Dark Souls 3 is so much easier than phase 1. And that's kind of what happened. Like, nothing took that long in the base game. Pontiff Sullivan, for example. This is a great example because he fucking took me forever to kill back then. I had to summon and everything. This time, I used strategy. Nameless King didn't even take me that long. I actually really ended up liking the first part of that boss fight. What was it called? The King's... I don't remember. This is the best Souls game. I really like Dark Souls 1, and I would probably put it up front as my favorite, but this is the best one, and it's not far behind as my favorite, and it might even overtake it the more I play it. But then we get to the DLC, first one being Ashes of Ariandel. Now, this DLC, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of it. The exploration of the DLC zone is just ruined by getting spammed by enemies, because no matter where you go, you will get ganged up on by 5-6 enemies at a time. And at some point I just said, fuck it, this isn't worth it. I'm not killing all... I like killing all the enemies so I can explore things, find shortcuts, find items. At some point I just said, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do zombie runs. I'm gonna run out in front of all the enemies, I'm gonna collect an item, then I'll die, and then I'll run out, do it again to try and find something else, because it's not worth killing a pack of 10 wolves to then move on to the next area and get ganged up on by giants with wolves, giant archers. Move on to another area, there's another 12 of them standing around. Also, the boss fight, I actually did like the final boss fight for the DLC. It's 3 boss phases at once. And I remember it being like 2 or something back when I first played it. I didn't realize I had the 3rd phase. That actually gave me a surprise again. And that was a tough fight. That was the only fight in the game that I summoned for this time around. So overall, I did not enjoy that DLC too much. The final boss was kind of cool, but even that can be kind of annoying. especially in the first phase. You know where she goes invisible? Feels like you dodge that sometimes and still get caught in the attack. The next DLC, however, is a huge improvement, the Ringed City. It still suffers with a lot of the same enemy spamming and wanting to, you know, explore, getting frustrated with how many fucking enemies there are, dying and having to do it again. At some point, I just said, I'm not doing this, and I started running through the areas. It's kind of difficult, but you can do it. But the boss fight selection here is so much better, and there's more bosses. The duo demon boss fight is really good when you figure out that one of them usually stays back casting things while the other charges at you, and then they kind of alternate doing that. And then it even has a second phase. It wasn't the most difficult boss, but it was pretty damn fun. I think the weakest boss in the game is the one where you can get a potential real player to fight against as the boss fight. I think that is definitely the weakest boss fight of the entire DLC. But then you get Dark Eater Midir. This is the boss that I struggled on the most out of any of them in the game. Any of them. This took me a good 3 hours, I think, and I don't think it's a bad boss fight. You know, every time I died, I was like, I know how to dodge these things. I just have to get a run where I can do it properly. The thing is, he just fucks off so much. It's like probably the thing I don't like about it as much. He'll fly off into the air. You'll run over to his head. He'll, you know, lift his head up and start breathing fire. You get over to him. He'll do something else. He'll charge at you. It feels like you're constantly running, but you don't have that much time to attack. So I think that's the reason why it took like 3.5 hours, because a lot of the attempts were so long running after him, trying to get a bit of damage in. Also, it doesn't help with, I don't know how much HP he's got, but my weapon was doing maybe that much off the health bar every hit. So not only does he move around so much, but when your weapon really doesn't do anything against him, it takes so long each attempt. It's a very good boss fight, despite the struggle that I had trying to beat it. And I think it's one of my favorite bosses in the entire game. And then we only end off the DLC on Slave Knight Gale, another genuinely like 10 out of 10 boss fight. Another example of not struggling as much as I did back then, because I remember having to summon, or maybe I just didn't have patience or something back then, but this time it only took 2 attempts. I probably had to dump all of my Estus to make it through, but still I'll take a two attempt win. Another amazing boss fight. This DLC is a banger. It's such a big upgrade over the first one. But yeah, I didn't play Dark Souls 3 in a while, so I'm happy to have played it all again. And lastly on the list is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I played a bit of this in November. I did both of the Easter eggs for Liberty Falls and Terminus. Or, you know, I did the... I'm not like too big on Easter eggs. Like, this is actually the first time I think I've done a zombies Easter egg. Because I'm one of those people that is like, I played World at War first, zombies, and then I played like Black Ops, and then they started getting like heavily into a bunch of like quests and different hidden steps and whatnot, and I just wasn't as interested in it. But I got back into Black Ops 6. We did the Easter eggs, you know, the way most people do them. One person is just kind of sitting there training a zombie while someone looks at Mr. Ruffle Waffles. Hey guys, Mr. Ruffle Waffles here. But got that done, and I'm probably going to continue playing it this month for the new map that actually comes out tomorrow, Citadel Daymore. That looks pretty good. I like the game. I think it's fun. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't play it at first because I was like, oh, there's armor in the game. Well, back in my day, we didn't used to have armor. I ended up really liking it. Bro, you can call chopper gunners into zombies. Like, that is so cool. That's my favorite kill streak from multiplayer. You can just summon it in zombies. You can use it as a last ditch ever to survive. Like, if you're being swarmed by zombies and you've got a chopper gunner or any kind of kill streak that allows you to survive while you're in it, you can use that and kind of save yourself. It's awesome. Yeah, I like a lot of the changes. It's fun. I like Liberty Falls as a starting map. It's not too confusing or big. And I think it's a very good starting map, actually. Terminus is a bit more complicated with the islands and even the Easter egg steps in general. But even that's a good map, so I'm looking forward to the next one. And I haven't played campaign. I've played a bit of multiplayer. I think overall it's a decent Call of Duty game. It's not like one of my favorites or anything, but it probably maybe one of the best ones in a while. But yeah, that being said, that is what I played this month. Again, you can let me know down below what you played this month. I was going to play Mario and Luigi Brothership, but I didn't get around to it. Although I've heard that game isn't as good as I was initially thinking it would be before it came out. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Definitely subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you all in my next video.